With all the things about super teams and this and that, we've gotten to a really weird place with the NBA, where the most interesting thing about the league is not the regular season, it's not the playoffs, and most certainly is not the NBA Finals, the NBA Draft, none of that. It's the off season. That's the most interesting thing about the league. And there's been all types of things to talk about this NBA off season. Gordon Hayward going to Boston. You've got all these big trades that have happened. CP3 going to the Rockets. I mean, Kyrie Irving going to the Celtics. Isaiah Thomas in return going to the Cavaliers. Paul George getting traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder. All the talk about where LeBron is going to go after the next season. Is he LA bound? So we're already looking forward to the next offseason more than we are the actual next season. You got Kevin Durant and his Twitter crap, and now all of a sudden, another domino has fallen. Now Carmelo Anthony has been traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder in exchange for Enes Kanter, Doug McDermott, and a future second-round pick. And I mean this is no disrespect to Carmelo Anthony and Hoodie Mello and all of this and all of that. But this feels like the type of retarded ass crap you would do in NBA 2K18 or something. This feels like some video game bullshit where only somebody playing a video game would make this type of deal. Man, I've got Russell Westbrook. I've got Paul George. Now I'm going to add Carmelo Anthony, and it's going to be great, and it's going to be awesome. We're going to score 200 points a game. We're going to blow the computer out of the water every single time. That's what this feels like. And it feels like we've gotten to that point with the NBA where it's a freaking video game come to life. People try to create all these super teams and doing this and doing that. It's actually happening. I understood totally why the Oklahoma City Thunder went after Paul George. You want to try and make Russell Westbrook happy. You want to make yourself a better team. It's worth the gamble on Paul George for at least a year. Bring him in, see how it goes. You know, try to move on a little bit from the Kevin Durant era and the Kevin Durant butthurt. I totally got that deal, and I was perfectly fine with it because ultimately they really didn't give up shit to get him. That's the truth. But now you're bringing in Carmelo Anthony. So on a team where you have one guy that is a massively ball-dominant player and really in all intents and purposes, regardless of what the assist total says, a complete and total ball hog, and that is Russell Westbrook. You add in a second ball-dominant player like Paul George to the mix where you could have some concerns or questions about how that chemistry is going to work out. Now you bring in arguably the most ball-dominant player you possibly could have, and perhaps still even at this stage of his career, more ball-dominant than either Russell Westbrook or Paul George could ever dream to be in Carmelo Anthony. Like it was interesting last year during the playoffs when the Thunder, I believe, were playing the Warriors, and I think this is the case. And he flat out, Billy Donovan was saying, we can't play Kanter because he can't match up defensively. So your answer for that is to trade Kanter away and acquire Carmelo Anthony. What are the Thunder thinking? What do they think this is going to do for them? How do they think this is going to make them a better basketball team? You bring in a player that's getting ready to enter his mid-30s, who's starting to see the injuries pile up, who is definitely a threat to play nowhere near 82 games a season, who is not quite the scorer he once was, frankly, hasn't been a great shooter for years, takes a lot of shots, he's a high-volume, low-efficiency scorer who isn't the rebounder he once was, is not a facilitator whatsoever, he's just another ball vacuum who will slow down your team offensively, massively hurt your team defensively because he's only grown in his abilities as a defensive liability over the years. Who in the hell are you trying to contend with by bringing in a Carmelo Anthony? This is not some type of, oh my God, this takes us to the next level thing. Whatever you think he's going to bring you on offense is going to be more than counterbalanced by all the things that he does to hurt you and take away from you on the defensive side of the ball. Like I said, not nearly the rebounder he once was. Who the fuck is he going to guard in terms of 3s or 4s? Give me a damn break. And then offensively, imagine Carmelo having to take a massive reduction in the number of shots he gets per game. To me, this is one of these things where you sit there and there was concern about a Kevin Durant going to the Golden State Warriors. But then on the flip side, you could say, while he was a ball-dominant player, kind of like Curry was a ball-dominant player, Kevin Durant showed enough ability to play off of the ball at times in Oklahoma City. He played with a ball-dominant player in Westbrook, and it worked out to a certain degree, to a certain level for a period of time. You could see potentially with the tempo that team played with and the structure of Kerr's offensive system that there could potentially still be enough shots for a guy like Durant. Maybe they would figure it out, but maybe they wouldn't. We ultimately found out they did finally figure it out. But now you're talking about a Carmelo Anthony who at this stage of his career, and frankly ever, has been nowhere near the type of player that a Kevin Durant has been. And now you're bringing him into a fold where he's always been a selfish, me-first type of player, where he's always been, frankly, a one-dimensional type of player, maybe 1.5 if you throw in the fact that years ago he could actually rebound at a decent clip effectively. He can't do that anymore. He's never been a great facilitator, and he's only going to become more of a ball vacuum as he gets older, not less. What in the fuck would anybody want to trade for Carmelo Anthony and bring him into a situation with Russell Westbrook and Paul George? NBA general managers, most specifically in this case Sam Presti. This is not NBA 2K17 or 18. This is not a video game. You cannot just amass names and expect the shit to work out. This is ridiculous. And it's really funny, actually, that Carmelo Anthony became this commodity that somebody actually wanted to trade for. Why? The hell do you think Carmelo Anthony is going to bring you to the table at this stage of his career, other than several games missed, fewer rebounds, a bunch of points given up to whoever the hell he's supposed to guard because he ain't guarding them, and a decreasing level of offensive efficiency that's been prevalent in his game for years and years? Good Lord. Carmelo Anthony is now a member of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Enjoy winning your 45 to 47 games, guys, and getting bounced early in the playoffs like you're going to contend with the Rockets or especially the Warriors or even the Spurs with this three-headed monster. And it's a monster. Could you imagine being Billy Donovan and having to deal with those egos? I don't know that you could pay me enough for that job. Good luck, Billy, because God knows you're going to freaking need it.